Welcome back, everybody. We're here at D's Tackle Box, and I'm D. I'm here with you to teach you a little bit more about what we do, so that if you're out there doing the same thing, you can perfect a little bit of the things that you do to make more money stay in your pocket when it comes to shipping those lures. One of the things that I always get asked is, hey D, how can I ship one lure that somebody asked me for and not pretty much burn through my profit on that? Well, let's just say that somebody wants to buy one lure and I show them this lure and we agree on a price. Let's say $15 shipped to your door. Now, I want to make sure that this lure arrives just like I sent a picture of. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. A lot of times we buy lures from other people. Maybe they're just starting in this stuff, or maybe they're just worried about finding them and selling them. They don't look into the logistics part of it. Well, let me tell you something. When you ship a lure, it has a lot to do with whether or not that person's going to come back and buy from you again. So I was asked, like the last 3 days, I've been getting messages and emails and stuff. I sat on the phone with somebody and we were discussing different apps and things that you can use. My favorite app is Pirate Ship. That's the one that pretty much leaves you with a little bit more money in your pocket when it comes to shipping. Why? Because they don't charge you an arm and a leg, since they're doing cubic inch measurements for your shipping. Now, most of these lures are not going to be over 16 ounces. I mean, this lure, it's about maybe an ounce, maybe less than an ounce. We actually had to make sure that we have a very good digital scale so that you can zone in on what has to. This one's a half an ounce, really, 0.5. We want to make sure that when we ship this lure, we're not going to overbox it, overpack it, and pay $8 to send it priority, when all you got to do is make sure you follow these steps. And I think it costs like about $3.50 to $4 max for one lure to go in a box, shipped first class. As long as it stays under the 16 ounces, you will be able to ship that lure in one box, and you won't have to pay an arm and a leg. I received the box not too long ago, had 2 or 3 lures in it, and the guy paid like $15. And I thought, wow, what in the world happened here? When I talked to him, I was like, you're not making any money off of that. Because I believe I paid him like $20 or $25 or something like that. But it just doesn't make any sense to do it that way. So let me show you what I do. And hey, if it helps you, by all means, use it. If it doesn't, then let me know how you do it, and maybe you can help me. Here we go. One of the first things that I do is when I take a lure and I'm like, hey, you know what, this is the lure we're going to send to you. The person wants to see that lure exactly the way that I showed it to him, right? I go to the dollar store, buy me some of these rolls of, in the party supply section, they got these rolls that I guess you use for gift wrapping and like putting banners and stuff like that across the doorways or whatever. There's a lot of different uses for this stuff. I'm going to show you what I use it for. I get some tape. This is the cheaper one that Walmart has for like $3.60. The other one is Easy Start, I believe is a brand, and those cost about $5 or $6, I think, and they're 50 yards. 50 yards will cover a lot of boxes if you know how to do it right, and that way you don't have to be spending so much on your tape, so much on your packaging. I've had boxes arrive with tons of bubble wrap for one little lure. Well, I'm going to show you weight-wise how you can save some money and make it as simple as possible so that you don't have to feel like, wow, this is overwhelming. You know, I'll just forget that. I don't want to sell that. One of the things that I do is I grab a lure like this. Once we're done made the deal, I go ahead and get some of this paper going, and I take it and I wrap these lures just like this. Just turn it a couple of times, and what's so cool about this little paper here is that when you do that, it takes on the shape of the lure or the hooks, and you can literally just grab it and press it. Don't squeeze it all until the hook is protruding from the end of there, but you just squeeze it a little bit, fold it back where it goes, get the next one, do this, wrap it up, give it a nice little press. Remember, don't squeeze it, just press it a little bit, and there you go. Hooks are now safe for travel, for transport, and you can take this paper, and since it does not react to the paint or the plastic or anything for that matter, it's so much safer then let's say those bubble wrap on a new lure or on an old lure, sometimes they react to that and end up melting. This paper here, I love it because you can take it, give it a nice little press without breaking the bill and everything, and guess what? It holds the shape of it. So now you know that this lure is nice and secure, and you don't have to worry about anything else as far as you know, the hook sticking out, catching somebody when they open it or whatever. I always make sure cover both of the hooks, wrap the lure, and then step 2. After that, the boxes come into play. Now you can go to any place and order boxes. You can find boxes or whatever. I prefer to go to Walmart. Some other people like to go to other places, order them online, whatever you want to do. But there's 4x4x4s and there's 6x6x6s. You can use either one. I use the 6x6x6 for more space in there. I'm gonna tell you something. It doesn't matter which one of the two you use or what other kind of a box you use. I can get something like this, and if I wrap this up in tape and put a lure in there and ship it, it'll ship, but they're still gonna charge you the same first class rate that they would for this one. Now look, I take this box, go ahead and fold it out, put a piece of tape on the back, make sure it's centered, make sure you got both flaps nice and clean. Some of y'all are gonna recognize this boxes because we always use this specific boxes for the space. Even for one lure like this, you have plenty of space in there, but you got to remember, you want to make sure that it's secure and it's travel, that in case it is crushed, these boxes sometimes get crushed, you want to make sure that your lure does not break that bill, does not get all scratched up, that the hooks don't come out and scratch up the lure, because that person that's buying that lure from you, they're going to send it back. They're going to want their money. They're going to want to be reimbursed for whatever damage it has, and that's part of this business. Now, I take a box like this, same thing, dollar store stuff. You want to be cheap on this? You can do it without sacrificing quality. Take a couple of wrapping papers, some gift wrapping papers, stuff them in the box like so, create a little cavity in there, take my lure, put it in there nice and neat, gently, get a couple more pieces. I learned that I can use 5, 6, 7 of these pieces of paper, put it in there, nice and neat, close it up, take your tape, overlap both of those flaps, nice clean box. Now the reason that I use these boxes is because I give it enough space in there that, see, it's not moving and it's not shaking anything, it's secure. But at the same time, if somebody decides to crush this box, it's not going to do anything to the actual lure. We're going to see this. See, I've gotten boxes where they get totally annihilated, but guess what? The lure, being that it's on all this stuff, safe and secure. See? When I receive my lure, I would like to have it exactly the way I got it in the picture. So you guys remember that. That's one of the things that we can do to keep these things safe for when they travel. But once you got that sucker in there, you got it nice and padded, you got it taped up. Do this again. There comes the next step. Get you a scale, a digital scale. Let's see what this one says. Now, you can buy all kinds of different scales. There's little ones, big ones, there's a bunch of them. I have one for a 50-pound max, and that's because most of these boxes are not going to go over, I don't know, 10 ounces if I'm putting multiple lures in there. Unless I'm doing something like a lot of lures all together, then I have to go with a priority package, but that's a whole different video. This is for first class, the cheapest way you can go, so that you can provide that lure for that person. That person can be happy when they get that box, no damage. And when I weigh it out, this one right here is showing 4.5. Okay. So we're gonna round it up to 5 ounces. That way we don't have to have anything come back. That's another thing. I've had people send boxes like this or other types of boxes with the weight a lot more than what they put on there. Guess who has to pay for that when you want to go pick it up? So I rounded up 5 ounces Now, how are you going to send it? Pirate Ship is the one that I use. Why? Because they go by cubic inches. So they take this 6x6x6 box, weighs out at 5 ounces, and guess what? You can pack a box like this up to 15.6 ounces, and it'll still ship for that $3.70 something cents or $3.80, first class, boxed, tracked, and everything. Now, one of the things and the reasons that I use these boxes is because I like to provide a brand new box for other people to be able to reuse. I don't put anything on there. I just tape it up, put the labels on there. We usually print out a label, stick it on the top, put a bunch of tape on it, and it goes to where it's going. Now, the reason that I do it that way and use Pirate Ship is because when you do that, you can actually save quite a bit of money in the long run. If you're doing this constantly, if you're dealing with all this every day, sending lures and boxes and stuff out like that, you want to make sure that you keep some money in your pocket when it's all done. You do not want to have to be paying $7-8 priority packages just to send one lure. So one of the best things to do is go to Pirate Ship, and you get an option there. When you type in all the info, the person's address, it even makes it so easy that you can select on their paste address, and you take that address that they gave you on your messenger or on your email, and you copy and paste it into that thing, and it pretty much brings up everything, fills in all the slots. All you got to do is double check everything, make sure it weighs out the exact same thing that you put on there. You enter the weight, you enter the method that you want. They give you an option of UPS or USPS. First class USPS is always the cheapest. You can go ground with UPS, but they add like $2 more. Or priority on USPS goes up to like $7 or $8, which I don't recommend unless you're sending something heavier. But the best, cheapest way for you to get that lure out to the person and not have to go through all the hassle of having it returned to you is this way that I just showed you. If you have any other questions that have to do with this, you can always drop a comment down here, or you can contact me directly via Messenger. You're on my Facebook, you can contact me there, whatever. As long as you guys know how to do this, you can adapt it to what you got to do and get some more lures out there to other people that really appreciate the way that you take time to do this. So if you got any questions, hit me up. And if you like the video, follow us, share it with your friends. You know, it's helping everybody. You, me, everybody else that's involved in this hobby. Everybody appreciates a good package like that, and we don't want to see them coming in envelopes with the hook sticking out of the side. So remember, guys, a part of what we do has to have a little bit of good work ethic, so that when we do this again for somebody else, they're happy to deal with you. And guess what? Everybody wins. See you next time.